Hey everyone, and welcome back to Not the Newsletter. We're in season 2. It's episode 1 now, and I'm here with Noah to cover everything CES 2025. So we have a gigantic list of things to cover today, and we're super excited about all of them. So we probably should just jump right in. And did you know something? We're in season 2. Did you know that 9 out of 10 podcasts don't make it to season 2?
Says who?
I just made it up right now. I told you a second ago.
I believed you.
I was thinking of interesting things to say.
Oh, I was trying to spare you the...
That's what I came up with.
Oh, okay.
So
before we even start talking about anything...
We're in the top 10th percentile then.
Absolutely we are.
Just sticking to the joke that's no good. Just like, all right, Chris, let's move on.
What exactly is CES?
I don't even know what it stands for. The Computer Engineering Systems. Do you know what it stands for? Consumer Electronics something. If I'm actually going to give you a
Consumer Electronics Show, but I think for a lot of the uninitiated, which is me and many other people, what do they do there?
Yeah, so it's everything technology, probably a lot of AI. Obviously, we're in the AI space now that we live in, so everything has been AI, whether it's hardware for TVs or video games or computers or whatever. AI feels like it has been the focus of a lot of things, but very much technology focused. It feels very hardware technology. Like obviously, if it's a consumer product, they're expecting to sell it to consumers. But obviously, all of us are consumers. We figured, hey, let's cover this in a podcast. It's a little too much to do in a newsletter. There's just a lot of cool, unusual, and interesting things. So we're just going to kind of go through it. We're not going to cover everything, man. I looked through stuff. We could have spent hours. There's tons of new and unusual things coming out. So won't be everything, but. All right. But let's jump right in. So
what's first?
The first thing I thought we could talk about is not our logo, but
CCA at CES. That's wild.
500 hertz refresh rate monitors. Obviously, this matters more to like gaming and things like that. But interesting to see sort of the sort of consistency to grow that refresh rate in monitors. Even though we don't really have hardware that can pull this off, that's always the thing that's funny for me.
Can our eyes pull it off?
Good question. I don't know. I feel like I've read things and our eyes. I've seen things like our eyes see things at 30 frames a second or something. But then, if that's true, then why can we tell the difference between 30 frames and 120? Right? You got a phone that has 120 hertz refresh rate, and it just feels better and smoother. So I don't know if we can see everything or we can just tell. Maybe it's like a smoothness.
Motion, yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, for context, a higher refresh rate monitor means it displays more images per second. So a hertz is just a measurement of something.
It's the quantity of times it refreshes per second. Yeah. Yep. So 500 hertz is 500 times per second.
Right.
Which is a lot of data, and I think that's why it's a lot to render. And be curious as we talk about some of the other things that could render that, if that's even a thing that's possible.
And maybe this jumps ahead to one of your other topics, but does that probably tie into the new HDMI standard that got unveiled too?
Probably a little bit with higher bandwidth regulations and things like that.
Yeah.
And we've got, as a tech company, we have some gamers among us, and we've had people with at least the current available, pretty much best hardware you can get, and can't hit 350, 360 frames a second in a lot of things. So 500 hertz kind of feels useless, but I guess we'll have to see some of the new equipment comes out maybe.
But is this stuff that's like actually coming out now, or is this like proof of concept? Because a lot of the stuff at CES is more like companies advertising, like we'll probably get to, not like, hey, here's a product we're going to sell in 3 months. It's more like, here's what we can do, and here's what we plan to do in 4 years with it. So is this like an actual thing they're going to sell pretty soon, or is this like we got this to work?
Yeah, it sounds like something they were going to release.
Release? Okay.
Yeah, what do I know?
That's got to be expensive.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a... I don't even want to know, because the multi-hundred refresh rate things now are already crazy.
Very expensive, yeah.
But yeah, good stuff.
It's cool though.
You can see things even faster if you can spend all of your rest of your money on the computer to run it. So good news for you if you don't want your money.
And the skills and time it takes to utilize that, which is not me.
The answer for you. Yeah, not me at all either. All right, next, Lenovo. I thought this was interesting. They are making a rolling display laptop, which...
for context, I never saw the picture until I turned around and looked at it, and that looks fake.
And so the weird thing is, you can kind of see where the actual screen is normally, right? There's that sort of hard plastic bezel or whatever.
I'm just looking for a picture right now. Yeah, you can see it though. Yeah.
And it rolls, the rest of the screen is likely under the keyboard, and then it sort of just rolls straight up out of that, and you get this sort of awkward looking thing. I don't know how I would use this. I feel like vertical isn't as helpful for me always as the width is. I mean, it's an interesting concept that they did 2 years ago, I guess, and now here it is. So I don't know what we do with it now that it's here, but
I could see it.
We have it.
I could see it weirdly useful. I can't show, but because a lot of things like this is a 14-inch laptop, right?
Right.
So a lot of times Windows is scaled to like 150%, which means like bring it back to AI as always. My Copilot window is like this.
Sure.
Because it doesn't resize all the other things. I would never be caught dead using that thing, but that would fix it, giving more vertical.
Right. Yeah, can you imagine just like sitting in an airport or at a Starbucks and your screen just, it looks ridiculous.
What would you rather use, that or Vision Pro in an airport?
Vision Pro.
Okay.
Yeah, I would look, if I'm going to look crazy, I might as well just full send it. I've got a friend that owns one, and he says just everyone asks him questions about it all the time, just makes people wear it and experience it, whatever. If you're going to be crazy, you might as well just full send it. The other thing for me, and it's the same thing with touchscreen laptops. As soon as you put a lot more weight in here, they start to feel strange and unbalanced. I feel like this has got to have that exact same experience where, if the center of gravity for your laptop screen is way out here somewhere, I guarantee you if you start to kind of flex that to get away from some reflections or whatever, it's just going to be like, boonk, and fall over.
So this, you might have to pull it up. I found a picture of the back of it, and it looks like, I don't know if you can like try to find one super, super quick without breaking your flow.
Here.
It shows just like the back of it, but like it gets back to your point. There it is. That's almost the same image I'm looking at. Like that also looks extraordinarily fragile.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It looks weird in every way.
Do they have a price for it?
I would never buy this. It's going to be $3,000, right?
At minimum.
There's just no way. It's going to be $3,500. There you go.
You just found it. Nice.
Start at $3,400, $3,500. But that means that you're probably getting the i5. They're probably not going to go super low spec, but i5, 16 or 32 gigs of RAM. It's not going to be. It's not going to be a beast. So, I don't know.
I'm surprised they're actually going to sell that. The warranty claims of that I bet are going to be.
Looks like you just wave at it to make it go up, because hitting a button on that keyboard would be way too much work.
It'd also be too normal.
Too normal. So yeah, that's a pass for me.
Absolute pass.
I don't see a use for this. I do like the innovations. I guess that's how all these things are, right? It's just like we're trying something to sort of move technology forward. So.
And that is a thing. Yes, we do rip on things a lot, but don't rip it. We should not rip on innovation.
Because I think what happens is they do things like this, and you're like,
yep,
doesn't feel like a thing. But I like it in the future. I've been driving cars around, right? And they have all the cars nowadays have the stupid thing that like it pokes out of your dash and it just looks awkward, and it's not.
Yeah.
The dash still flows behind it, and they try to make it look nice. But because you put screens in them that don't flex and don't move and don't whatever, they're very like rigid.
Yeah.
So I do think there's something cool about displays that are more flexible and more whatever. Because I think if you could sort of design some of those into the actual,
that would be useful. That'd be cool.
Yeah. So I think some of this tech is going to make its way to other things that's going to be
100%
useful. So, but that one doesn't feel like it is.
No. What's next?
NVIDIA. I think we're going to talk about them a couple of times, but let's.
I think so. Yeah.
Let's start with they. I don't know that they give us a ton of information about it, but they're calling this their digits. And he was on stage. He pulled a me.
He pulled a you.
Whoever it was, I don't know if it was the owner of Samsung or their chief of sales or somebody, but they stood on stage and they were like, "Hey, this is called the NVIDIA Project Digits, and if you have a better name for it, hit me up."
That's amazing.
On stage at CES, I was like, "I
love that.
That's amazing." I did that in our first podcast. I'm like, "Help us name this," and so I'm sure they'll get more responses than we did, which was 0.
Probably.
But this is supposed to be a supercomputer, and for context, it's about the size. He put it in his hand, so it was maybe the size of a, I don't know, small, half size of cut a toaster in half.
Like one of Dell's micro desktops.
Yes. Yeah. If everyone knows, what that is, $3,000. It didn't say. I didn't get a ton of information on what was in it. Maybe that's just proprietary.
Sure.
I would imagine it's just a GPU.
Yeah, I would imagine that. Yeah.
Because if they can get this to run on their GPUs, I'm guessing they can just stick a GPU in there and some other.
Well, so I just found their
SoC.
I just found their website or their web page for it, I should say. Without getting too much into the weeds, and this might be jumping ahead, the new GPUs are like the Blackwell series, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it literally says their tagline for it is Blackwell AI supercomputer on your desk. So I think it literally probably is just you're looking at the same thing I am.
Yeah,
It probably
right.
is literally just a GPU and
Yeah.
probably some other I/O on it.
1 petaflop GPU, some ARM cores, 120 gigabyte bit DDR. It's a lot of RAM.
4 terabytes.
Mm-hmm.
Did they say what you can do with this?
I don't exactly know. AI.
I
So I imagine this isn't for. It sounds like this is for the like end user, for the consumer.
Yeah, it's tiny, right?
But what is it like? All of my AI stuff gets rendered in the cloud. I don't know how. I don't see what I do with this. Maybe I'm an AI. Maybe I'm an engineer, programmer, and I'm testing out AI models and things, and I want to test it locally before I.
Maybe.
So, and I'm a.
Does Adobe do on-device AI stuff, like in Photoshop and stuff? Because that could be it.
No, that could be. Yeah, so I can do AI stuff in Photoshop and Premiere and things, and they are very slow.
Are they? Okay.
I was getting angry about some things I was doing in Photoshop recently that I was using AI for, and I realized, it was taking 5 or 10 seconds, and I'm like, ugh, this is so slow. But then I realized if I actually had to clone all this stuff out and then match and then do whatever, and it was a very detailed thing that I was doing. I'm like, this would take me hours to
Right.
do, and I'm going to do it in like 5 minutes.
Right.
So it was slow-ish for what felt like something that could have happened quicker, but it's hard to know. Is that getting uploaded to Adobe somewhere and then rendered out?
Back down. I don't know.
I don't have a ton of information. Haven't done research on that, but
I wonder.
That would be cool. Yeah, if this does, you could just use it as a desktop and then it runs some of that stuff natively. Cool.
It looks very trypophobia-ish on the front,
A little bit.
like fear of holes.
Mm-hmm. It's just got handles. So if anyone has fear of handles, then they're in trouble.
It's got handles. Isn't it like this big?
Handles
Handles
like
like finger handles?
they're definitely finger handles.
That's hilarious. It's
Yeah.
kind of cool looking, though.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
So
interesting.
this next thing is for you, Noah. This next thing is a RCA TV that you can take camping with you, and it perfectly blends into the environment because of the bezel. So there's a bezel that has I don't even know what camel pattern it is. Mossy oak, is that what they're calling it?
Can I just say already, this isn't it.
This is for you.
No,
This is it. You're going to get one of these, one of those supercomputers, and then the rolling Lenovo computer. And it goes down to negative 22 degrees Fahrenheit.
I mean, that is slightly impressive, but like what? It looks terrible.
It does look terrible. The thing I don't quite understand is it's $6,000, $4,000 for the small one, $5,000 for the middle-sized one, $6,000 for the 65-inch, and 75-inch one is $8,000.
I say this in the kindest way possible. You should never buy anything from RCA that's $6,000.
Well, here's the I can't think of a scenario. So they show people camping out here. I don't even see the TV. Where's this TV in this picture? I mean, is it that good that it's just camouflage? I can't see it.
Well, that's what I was wondering. Is it supposed to be on the? That's a good question. Where's the?
So, but
Oops. Where's the TV go?
If I'm out in the woods with a 65-inch, 75-inch TV in the woods hung from a tree or something, I'm pretty sure someone wandering by me is going to be like, I see a television, and they're not going to be like, ooh, those bezels are working.
Can we just keep the TV inside and enjoy the outside?
That's the other thing I thought of. I'm like, why can't we just go camping? So
this would make more sense like in a backyard. Like you want to do a backyard Packer party? Fine. Put it outside. I don't care.
But then why not just get like a projector for $200 and stick a sheet up on the side of your house and just...
Is your TV water resistant?
Yeah.
Oh, then fine.
I mean, if it's raining outside for a Packer game, you're probably not watching this either.
Right.
I don't know. I'm thinking I'm going inside if it's raining.
This is dumb. I'm sorry.
100%. So here's the thing. I thought about this just now. I wonder, I'm like, who would buy this? And have you seen those like $1 million earth roamer things that people drive around and they're like off-road vehicles and they're
kind of, yeah, I think so.
But they're like inside like wine glass holders and like a
Oh, you think
wine
this
chiller.
is for them?
I'm just thinking of maybe those guys. It's on the side of your thing, or it's on like you just build it under an awning and there's like a door you slide open and then boom, there's a mossy oak camouflage TV that fits the sort of vibe of I'm camping like.
Is
glamping.
Mossy Oak a brand? That looks branded.
Yes, that is I don't know if it's a brand or if it's the name of the camo pattern. I don't know for sure, but I think Mossy Oak is that pattern.
It's a patented pattern.
Right.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I don't know if that's the company or what.
That's terrible.
Right.
Not the pattern. The pattern's cool. RCA don't do no.
Let's see if I can get a picture. Get you an earth roamer. So there you go. So that's what I'm. That's
like
what I'm
those.
saying. Right. So maybe you have some sort of side door on there, or that little thing down on the bottom there pops out of there, and because these are $1 million, right? If you told someone like, hey,
Oh, sure.
I'll slap one of those TVs on there for $8,000, you'd be like, whatever. I mean, those tires are probably $30,000, so who cares about eight?
What in the world is up with the wheels?
I don't know. It looks like beadlock.
It
but
does look like
it looks like a triple beadlock. So I don't know.
triple beadlock.
Those are never falling off. You're just
Rip
running.
the car off with that. Oh, all right. Well, that's a fail. I
Yeah,
don't
a
even
little
care.
bit.
That's terrible.
This is quite terrible.
What's
So
next?
the smart breaker, I thought, was kind of cool, but then the thing they're saying about it feels not so cool. So it's a breaker box you can control from your phone, and you can see on the picture here that they've got a range dryer, water heater, your EV charger, etc. So I was like, so I can't use my dryer and my charger at the same time, or what? So like my wife is inside, using the range, and I'm going to plug my car in, and I just flip off. It's like, okay, wait a second. I feel like this is going to cause some problems for people when you start just randomly turning things off in your house, full send. Especially if these are all smart appliances. A lot of our stuff, like if I just start unplugging it from the wall, it's going to get really angry at me when it comes back on again.
Oh, I get it.
But I think the goal is that, like, hey, you have a 200 amp circuit,
Yeah.
and we want to give 100 amps to your car charger.
Right.
And I don't know if it's a safety thing to keep it from tripping, so that like you're not running the washing machine at the same time as you're charging your car. So you can just like safety, like just kind of flip it off. But I guarantee I mean, I don't know. If I came in the garage and like plug my car in and then flip that switch and then turn off whatever things I need to, I haven't gone inside yet. I don't know what's all running in my house. I can't just be like dung dung dung.
Yeah, this is the more I think about it, this is actually the concept sounds cool. I just want an app because I just want to be able to see it, just like a read only, like just a numbers thing. Like that'd be kind of fun to
Yeah,
watch.
the usage would be
But,
good.
like,
I like that.
That is, I get what you're saying. I don't get it. Like
But
that.
people must be having this problem. This must be an issue, right? I mean, you have two EVs and you're at home and you're charging both your cars, and then you go to turn the microwave on and just blow the whole system. I mean, not that it
Maybe,
would blow, but you're probably tripping your mains. Then is what they're saying.
Right.
I don't know. I don't own two EVs, so
I own 0.
um,
Who, like, okay, so obviously an end user would not be able to install this thing on their own, like an electrician would have to. Well, I mean, unless they're electrically versed. I wouldn't go ahead and.
yeah, I think this
Full
is
disclosure: do not install your own breaker. I didn't tell you to do that.
starts at a $1,500 professional installation.
Oh, $1,500. Okay, I don't know how much a normal breaker in a house would cost.
I think it's just the installation. So I'm not. It's
Oh.
not the thing. The thing might be $5,000. So it'd be,
No, which starts at.
Oh, it starts with
$1,500
and requires
and
installation. Yeah, yeah.
requires-
Okay, I see what you're saying.
But the installation could be
Speed,
very
with speed
expensive.
reading.
Yeah, no, that's okay. The app is cool. I think the concept of what it's trying to do is very flawed.
This guy's got a lot of stuff going on here. A range, EV charger, dryer, washing, heater, hot tub, water heater.
Would a dryer really be 6,000 watts?
No idea. Maybe.
I don't know. I only have a gas one at home.
Or
so I
that's
don't
your
know.
budget. Maybe that's their. Oh, it could be electric if it's an electric one. It just could be it might be a 3,000 or 4,000 watt dryer, but they put a budget at $6,000. Knowing that, like,
12,000 watt hot tub.
yeah.
Interesting. I still don't.
Budgeted versus available versus whatever.
I mean, it's an interesting concept. That is in the world of. I was thinking about this a couple weeks ago. Actually, when I was in my basement, in the world of smart whatever things. Smart breaker has not been done yet, and now of course here it is. Here's a smart.
Right.
Is that the whole breaker though, or is it just a module inside a breaker?
The way this reads, these parts fit into major electrical panels that standardize on one breaker spacing. So to me, this feels a little bit like it's some sort of modular you're plugging in.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, that's kind of cool. It'll be interesting to watch. I think there could be potential there, but and then maybe we're misunderstanding the use case, but it feels slightly.
It just means it's not for me then, obviously. 'Cause
Right.
I don't know that I have this problem. And I do think I'd run into some issues if I start just turning off the hot water heater while my family's inside taking a shower and I don't know, and I pull into the garage and just like,
Right.
nope. Like,
Right.
sorry, everyone else. I don't know. I feel like I'd find a better way to do that. And maybe that's I didn't read this whole thing. I could see like having it happen automatically, like at night where
Right.
this comes on at night and then goes off at whatever.
Because isn't it most optimal to charge your EVs at night because usually the rate is lower because it's like.
I don't know if that happens around here though, does it?
I don't think here, but in other places.
There's other places, yeah. Unless you're a business, I think there's different like peak and off-peak hour rates. I guess every time I think of a use case, I think of the fact that it doesn't make sense. Because if you charge your EV at night, like, am I out rocking? I mean, I guess the hot tub makes sense. Like that could go off at night.
Yeah, it could. Yeah.
Maybe the water heater.
Yeah.
But you're probably not doing the wash. You're probably not running hair dryers. You're probably not running the microwave or the range. Some of that stuff doesn't make a ton of sense. Like
no.
Because I think you could probably automatically set your EV to come on at whatever time. That doesn't. You don't need this. You don't need this thing to do that.
Right. I don't know.
Cool. We'll see. I'm sure we'll think of cool things to do with it.
I think so. Yeah. All right. What's next?
This is what I want for cars. This is what they have to figure out for cars. So this thing, you have a case that goes on the outside of your phone. It kind of looks. I don't love it. It looks kind of chubby.
It does look a little.
But I wanted to cover this topic because I want this to happen for cars. I think when EVs get here, then we're done. We've done it. Unless we go to some other thing like hydrogen or something. Like if EVs are the future, I think this is the way.
Sure.
I want to just pull my Tesla, Honda EV, whatever, into somewhere. Maybe it's my garage even, right? At the end of the night, boom. It's this thing. You just go in this little bin. It goes in this little like thing here. And there's, I think 3 batteries in this. It holds 2 batteries, right and left.
Yeah.
You drop the thing in there. It takes your battery out, starts charging it, and drops a 100% charged battery into your phone. And it's just like an external Qi wireless charger. So it just sits on the back of the case and wirelessly charges your phone. But you never, ever plug your phone in then. Right when you kind of get low.
Yeah, you just
throw it in there. It charges your battery. I guess the only downside is if a family member comes over like right 5 seconds after you and just plugs their phone in because they need a battery, that you could potentially get in trouble there.
It's kind of interesting.
It's kind of cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
The case is expensive. I think the batteries are expensive. I mean, the whole thing is probably, you're kind of going in.
How big is the battery on the back of the?
I think they said 3,000 milliamp hours.
Oh, okay. That's actually not bad. That's actually a lot for relatively speaking.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of cool, actually. Huh.
3,500.
Yeah, that's not bad. For context, that's like an average iPhone battery size, I think, roughly. So, like, instead, if
I
you
think they're like 3,200 right now or something, right? Or
so like double your battery life, roughly.
Yeah. Well, it would. Well, I think the goal is that it doesn't double your battery life. The goal is that you never, ever, ever charge your phone ever.
What? Yes,
yeah.
that it mathematically.
Yeah, but theoretically, you'd also get 2 days worth of. Like you could.
That too. Yeah. Like if you're on if you're on vacation, you won't have
plug it in right when your phone's at 100% already and get a new battery and you're good for like forever.
Yeah, that's interesting.
4 days. So I think it's cool. I want to see cars do this.
That would be nice.
I know they've been trying it. It's not like I'm the first person that's thought of that, but I think as soon as that becomes a thing where it's maybe either modular enough or Tesla comes out with it, I love the idea of pulling into my garage at the end of the night. There's a charged battery ready to go. One goes out, new one comes in. Superchargers around town if I need one, I suppose, to go to Minneapolis or whatever. But that's how I want to charge my car.
That's kind of
even
cool.
at a gas station. Pull into a gas station, bink. Kind of like you would trade out like a propane tank, right, for your gas stove. Like you just get it. It's a new one. You're done. We need to get there.
Speaking of cars,
speaking of cars, here's Honda's new EV. I don't know what it looks like. Fish.
A fish is pretty accurate. Yeah,
they're calling these the Honda Zero. One is called a Saloon, and the other is called the SUV. So
it's just called the SUV.
It's the Honda Zero SUV.
That's hilarious.
Yep. So creative. They were very creative in their naming conventions here. Oof, that's got a road presence to it.
What do you think of the new Honda logo? Because that is their new logo.
It looks like a robot.
I thought it looked like hands.
Okay.
Which actually is apparently what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be like hands, like
with the thumbs in the middle.
I guess that does have a road presence.
Interesting. I do see the hands now.
Yeah.
There's some glass windows for you.
Yeah. Okay. Wait. Here. Go back up for a little bit. That is super cool. However, I'd be horrified in a rollover scenario.
Yeah. Just don't roll it.
No, that's true. Actually, it's an EV. It'd be very hard to roll. You have to get very hard to roll that thing. Hard enough that you probably would.
You'd have to hit another EV.
Tesla semi.
Yeah. Just like right on top of you.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what my thoughts are there, but
it's kind of cool. I mean, I love that more things are going EV. I think those are absolutely disgustingly ugly, but it's a concept, so it's kind of supposed to be weird.
I just like that they were called the Honda Zero, so I had to put it on there. And they called it SUV and Saloon.
It's
the Honda Zero car, an SUV. Oh,
that's hilarious.
Okay.
The wheels are I kind of like the wheels actually.
Good job, guys. See, here's the thing that's funny for me is they probably have like a $400 million marketing budget, and that's they commit. Like we named our newsletter not the newsletter because our marketing budget is $0.04,
Right.
and it's the best we come up with, right? They have limitless opportunities, and the best they can come up
They're
with.
Honda. Yeah.
Let's call it SUV and saloon, and we'll go zero because it doesn't emit anything. How about that, guys? Anyone buy in?
Oh, I didn't even think about zero for that. I just thought because it was kishy.
So my guess would be zero emissions, right?
No, that adds up.
Zero emission
Makes
SUV,
sense.
zero emission, whatever. But they're pre-emitting that you're depending on where you're getting your stuff from. Like Wisconsin's very coal driven, right? Like I don't know the number, don't quote me on this, but it's high percentages of our stuff comes from
Relatively.
coal. So
And natural gas. Yeah.
you just admitted the stuff before you started driving. Doesn't make you better than me.
You're not supposed to think about it too hard.
Oh, sorry. Back to NVIDIA,
Mm-hmm.
their new graphics cards. And every year for me, their graphics cards feel somewhat like a bust. And honestly, I feel like it's one of the first years
A bust from what perspective or viewpoint? Because they're technologically not bad.
Right, but for the amount of money extra they are from the previous year.
Got it. Okay.
But they don't seem to punch that high above
What they
performance-wise what they used to do.
Sure.
So you paid another $1,000 for the GPU in the new year. I don't know how do you get that feeling? I don't know, but I didn't get that feeling that I was getting another $1,000 worth of performance.
Is that Moore's law taking into effect?
Sure. But this one feels better. The 5090, the top dog, has a lot of power for the money.
How much is it? Is it like
RAM?
$2,000
$2,000, yeah.
for the top one?
So yes.
Okay.
And the other ones, I think they're at $580 for the 5070, and which is still a lot of money because like you've said before, you can buy an entire console for your kids at that much money.
Right.
But those perform sort of at or better than the $1,000. I think they say the 5070 Ti or something is at performance of the 4090.
That's actually kind of
Which
impressive.
is $800 compared to that was $1,500 or $1,600.
That's not bad,
So
actually.
I think those are the things where you're just like, wow, okay, that feels like a generational shift.
Yeah, that does.
I think some of it's AI interpolation and things happening that
Sure.
I didn't get to watch the whole keynote on it,
Yeah.
but I think there's some other magic happening in there. But yeah, there you go. So you're seeing a like more than 100% increase from the 4090 to the 5090.
Would like the 5070 or whatever be considered? I don't know much about like gaming GPUs and whatever. So would the 5070 be considered mid-range?
That's the entry level one, I think.
Well, that's entry.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So it's 70, 70 Ti, 80, 90. At least right now, that's their current.
So the new generation,
Yep,
the
just those-
5070, is roughly the same of the flagship version of last generation.
Correct. Yeah.
That's actually not bad. That's
like-
actually, yeah,
A third of ish the money that's the current one is.
that's actually kind of impressive.
Yeah.
Okay. That's kind of cool. When do they come out?
I feel like they said they start releasing January 30th or 31st.
Also, like soon.
Yeah, soon. So you could almost go get these if you had the desire and just.
They look kind of cool. Like design, physical
Yeah.
design.
And we're still sticking to the 2-slot designs. They still fit in a computer. You know?
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
I feel like the 4090 was massive. I'm guessing this is the exact same size.
I think, I mean, you can't get much bigger.
You can't get much. Yeah, you can't get much bigger. It's got to be the same, unless it's smaller. That'd be shocking.
Then that'd be a leap. They made it better and smaller.
Yeah, $550 for the 5070.
Ooh, what's the power draw on it?
A lot.
Massive, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of the
500
smart
and-
breaker,
570 watts, 575.
that's insane.
Mm-hmm.
What's a good comparison? What uses like 600 watts of power just for a comparison?
An old microwave.
An old microwave, you think uses 600 watts?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, now they're like 1,200, 1,500, whatever. But
Right.
like your, first microwave you had, or yeah.
That's like actually kind of expensive to run.
And that
Or
was the thing. I
GPU.
mean, that was back in the day. You turn your microwave on and something else was running. It would blow your circuit out if you had
Right.
a 15 amp breaker or something.
Right.
You know.
Interesting. Okay. Well, cool though. They're coming out soon.
So something to keep in mind if you were going to have this on the same circuit as lots of other, that might cause a problem. If your computer takes 1,000 watts,
Unironically, yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Exactly.
I think it comes out to about. I feel like the amperage comes out to about the same. I'd have to actually do the math, but you might be near like 10 amps at that point.
That's insane. That is crazy.
Right. Which is why, your dryers draw 6,000 whatever. It's because they put those on a 20 amp dedicated circuit,
Right.
30 whatever, for that reason, right? They
Right.
put them on these big giant circuits or 50. So it'll be They don't. I don't know. They got a whole lot more headroom here to go on some of these.
No.
They're gonna have to find better ways to make these more energy efficient. Excited for those. I'm definitely gonna get one of the new ones. I just don't know which one yet.
Sure.
We'll see.
Next.
This looks interesting. This looks like the computer that's literally in front of me right now.
It does, actually.
Almost in every way. Almost the color, everything else. It just feels like they stole.
This feels like a lawsuit.
Oh my gosh. I mean, like the hinges, everything. It feels like they just.
Even the up, down, left, right is a
Yep.
one-for-one cut. This feels like a lawsuit.
Yeah. Yep. Even at the top, it's like the MacBook Air I've always been dreaming of.
That's a very nice way to say it.
Very nice way to say it. Looks really nice. So if you're into Windows, they should activate it. I mean, honestly, how much money do you have to not activate Windows?
Can't even activate your demo.
Can't even activate your demo.
I just saw that as you were saying that. That's absolutely hilarious.
They didn't have the $100 to pay for Windows.
I mean, it does look good, but it just really does look like a MacBook.
Right. And very light, 2.2 pounds. I feel like that puts it kind of in
Right, similar to what that thing is.
right. Puts it in the MacBook Air sort of like pricing. Yeah, it looks nice. It really looks. I think it's the thing that has been missing in the Windows space is a like well built computer. I guess Dell XPS has been doing that for a while.
But there's not many of them.
Not many of them, and some of those haven't felt as premium in some ways. So
Or they do feel premium, but then have like weird issues where like
right.
you really don't always want to buy it.
Right. So excited to see these. I don't know if it said what the starting prices were going to be, but
I also just totally misread. I thought it said that the case was made out of cesium, which is super rare.
there it is again. So we'll talk about this in a second. Maybe we don't have to. The ZenBook.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
$900 starts with the Snapdragon X, which is a new CPU out as well at CES. That I don't think it's that new. I think they've had sort of more premium versions of it, but I think they're trying to make like a budget version of that CPU for this exact reason of like how do we make and deliver reasonably priced laptop computers. So I imagine we'll see these in more Chromebooks and things like that. I read that their target sort of price point for that is like $600 to sort of get a computer down into that $600 range again.
That would be...
Which hasn't really happened in a while.
No, that'd be awesome, actually.
So I think that'll be interesting to see. It's not going to have 16 gigs of RAM. It's going to be, 8 or 4 or something. But...
That's Asus's... Who is it? Asus or Acer?
Snapdragon. I'm just talking about the CPU. Or your yeah.
I remember. That's what I was going to ask. Are you talking about the CPU?
The Snapdragon X.
Okay. That makes sense.
But so in the base model, I'm sure as you get up in tier, they'll give it. Oh, maybe not. Goes to Snapdragon Elite. So maybe they'll always have the Snapdragon.
And it weighs less for some reason.
But then and it helps maybe keep them at that price point. If you put an Intel or an AMD chip in there, you might be double that number.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's actually not a bad price.
Yeah. So we'll see how those perform. I've never used a Snapdragon
like ARM Windows
laptop,
on ARM.
Windows ARM,
I would be curious to try that.
Yeah. So that'll be it's kind of a two thing. It'll be interesting to get one of those here and check it out, see if they're awesome.
When's that become a thing?
I don't remember what they said. We need to add these to our list so that we can come review them like full scale here
when they come out. Yeah,
actually come out. I don't know. Can't find it. Let's hope soon.
The company joked about calling it the ZenBook Air. That's hilarious. They're just fully embracing that.
They kind of did with the A14, right? Like that kind of looks like Air, right? Like spelled like Elite Speak or something.
Yeah.
So I think most of these things felt like they were on their way out. The only thing of the things we're talking about that felt like it wasn't really like out was those Honda cars.
Sure.
Those were 2026 was their estimate. So.
Oh, that's not even that for a car. That's not really that far out.
Right.
2026. Interesting. Okay.
Yep. That's a fun one. Excited to see those. Samsung, everything AI. It was crazy how many things they're trying to put AI into at Samsung now. It's just everything. All their TVs have it, ovens, fridges, microwaves.
What in the world am I supposed to do with AI in my oven?
Great question. No one knows.
Does Samsung know? Probably not.
I don't know. But yeah, I mean, you see home AI. It's just all your appliances, just everything.
I mean, I can understand phone. I can understand TV. I can't understand the rest of it. Is it like... I can't even think of like a stupid reason as to why I'd want it. Besides just more ways for my home network to get like breached.
Yeah, I can't.
Did they? In all fairness, though, did they actually give like useful reasons as to why you'd want AI in your smart fridge
Again, I didn't have
all the time?
time
Yeah,
to watch the entire. There was so much that happened at CES. I didn't get the time to watch everything, but um, I got the sense that they're trying to get smart AI into everything.
Smart Things Pro.
Yeah, and so I think maybe a lot of the AI will be in their home hubs,
Yeah, sure.
and so maybe those will.
That makes sense.
It may be the same way the Nest works, where if it's you leave the house and you're gone and it doesn't see you, it'll start to turn things off and do
Which is
whatever.
cool.
So maybe it's those kinds of things where
Sure.
I don't know if that's AI though. I don't know.
That just feels like
Yeah,
if
it
this,
just feels
then
like
that.
automation, right? Like if this person leaves the house and the oven's still running for
Turn-
an hour, like turn it off. So
That's just like the joke that all AI is just a million if this then that,
yeah,
which it's not, but just it
Mhm.
feels like it's sometimes interesting. Okay, well, Samsung will keep doing what Samsung does, which is questionable.
Yeah.
Most times
yeah, we'll see.
they make good TVs though.
They do make
That's
good
all I'll
TVs. We'll see how much AI actually helps with those things.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about Dell XPSs, they're changing everything about how they name
Yep.
computers, and they stole that information from Apple because they thought Apple had such a great corner on the market. They just stole their naming conventions.
So like, what's it now? Or no, actually, to clarify, what is it currently? It's Dell
Optiplex, Latitude.
Optiplex for the desktops, and they got Latitude, Precision,
Mm-hmm.
and XPS.
Right.
Isn't there something else? No, there's not. So, anyways, now what are they making them to
So they're
be?
calling them Dell Pro, and Dell Pro Max. As you can see here, the XPS is going to Dell. The Inspiron is going to Dell.
Oh, you were not kidding.
The Inspiron is going to Dell. Sorry, did I say Inspiron Plus? Yeah. The Latitude is going to Dell Pro, and Precision is Dell Pro Max. But they're also having these sort of sub-tiers. So each of these, at least the way I saw it, and there was a Twitter post that went out, it looked like you could do these upgrades in any tier.
Okay.
So you could go Dell Premium, Dell Plus, or Dell Max in any of the categories or something to that effect.
So not full disclosure, but like, so jokes aside, I did know about like this beforehand. However, I actually did not know how the old lined up with the new. This is not what I was expecting. I thought XPS was going to be Dell Pro Max. The fact that XPS is getting lumped in with, what's Inspiron Plus?
No idea.
Okay.
Must just be the big one.
There's Inspiron Plus now.
Mhm.
The fact that Inspiron, which is like the cheapest of
Yeah.
laptops, is getting looped in with like their high end, like zenith of like niceness, that is surprising to me.
Yeah, and the confusing thing is, if you just gave someone a Dell Plus, right? That doesn't sound a ton different than Dell Pro Plus, which a Inspiron and a Latitude that's in the top tier of like, reliability and whatever.
Right.
They're just not the same product, and it's confusing.
I heard you. I actually cringed a little when you said, "Oh, if you buy someone a Dell Pro or whatever, I hate it so much."
Mm-hmm.
But clearly, Apple does it. And it's very successful. So like maybe it will just make more sense when they do it. But this is not how I expect it to be. So then for a
So I guess if you get the Inspiron, you can only get the Dell.
yeah,
And Inspiron would never be any. Maybe there's no Dell Premium or Plus in Inspiron. Like you just get it, just called Dell.
which makes sense. Yeah.
I wonder if they're going to do any. I don't know. Yeah, the whole thing seems like a hot mess. Is there going to be any number in there? Are they going to call it like the Dell Premium 25? MacBook they do based on sort of like the year runs. How do you know?
That's a good question. I don't know. Yeah, we'll have to see.
Because it is the nice thing. It's hard about the hard thing about Apple is it's hard to know. Like if you just looked at this computer, even if you looked, you can go and get the About Apple thing and get a better sense of how old it is.
Sure.
It's not as easy to find out. Like that probably needs to get replaced or
Right.
whatever. We'll see how some of that goes. But
When does this? 2025. But like, is this like now or later?
I haven't seen it hit their website yet.
Me
so
neither.
You can still you can still buy the currently normal named. Yeah, I don't know if that had a problem. I read from some people that they said they didn't like the Latitude name. I don't know. I'd never had a problem with it, but
The name or the number convention? Like
the name. They said they didn't like Latitude. They're like, oh, it was like they changed it to something. I guess I didn't love Latitude.
Oh, okay. I kind of like Dell's naming actually.
Yeah, I had no problem with it.
No,
I mean,
actually help keep things separate.
It wasn't miserable enough that I was like, they should really work on this.
Yeah.
So there it is. You're going to get a computer this year, and you'll be super duper confused about what on earth is happening. So
Cool.
yeah.
We'll see when this comes out. I'm curious. I'm also kind of curious. So so the names are changing, but the hardware's staying the same.
Yeah, they look exactly the same.
Do they?
Nothing else
Okay.
is changing. Yeah.
So like when I go and which
So
one was it?
so that would be a
This is a Dell
Dell
Pro.
Pro Plus, probably.
Y Plus.
I would imagine they're going to do the Pro. The Dell Pro is probably going to be the 3000 series. Pro Plus will be the 5000. Pro Premium would be the 7000.
You're right.
Right?
Yeah, I would imagine that would make sense. Okay. Huh.
And same deal. So the Precisions, instead of calling them the 3.5 and 7000, or Precision went up higher, like
It went to 9.
579,
3579.
3579.
4 versions.
Okay.
Or 4 tiers.
So they must be dropping one of those. But I would imagine they're just taking those numbers, making them those words, and then so the Inspiron will have no name. It will just be a Dell.
Makes no sense.
There will be no branding convention for what that actually is. What you got there? It's a Dell.
Yeah, what?
Which one?
Yeah.
It's the Dell.
Yeah.
That feels like a gateway back in the day when you just bought a gateway computer. It was just like, what you got? It's a gateway. Yeah. I don't know. Silly.
Interesting.
I hope it works for them. I like Dell. I like buying Dell stuff. I hope this doesn't
I also do. I like Dell.
make them go out of business or something dumb, because that would make me sad.
I
I don't want to get into the business of making computers.
Yeah, right.
And I don't know that I want to go buy Lenovo. Sorry, Lenovo.
Dell supremacy. Not biased.
I don't know. I just like them.
Yeah, me too. Anything else?
I think that's it. I mean, there's absolutely tons of stuff for CES. If you want to learn more, Google some stuff on CES 2025. There's tons of stuff out there. Crazy stuff. Excited to see some of these things come out. We'll definitely try to get our hands on as much of this as we can. That makes sense. I don't know that we're going to buy the NVIDIA supercomputer, but we'll try to get our hands on that Asus computer. And as soon as I wanted to get one of those Dell rebrand things, so we could get a sense of how
I'm curious.
weird this is going to actually be, but we did not, and they're not out. Otherwise, I was almost going to be like, as soon as I heard it, I was like, let's go get one and see if they're any different.
I both want to see that. I also just want to buy one to see what the buying experience is like. Like how much the names throw me off.
Right. And are they going to be different pricing? Is this like,
I don't know. Yeah, I wonder.
because it doesn't feel like they changed much else. They just tried to rename them. So yeah, it might be annoying at first, but I'm sure we'll get used to it.
Yeah, I think so.
So as soon as we have some of those weird new names here, we'll let you know what we think.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, thanks for being there, everyone.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. And we'll catch you on the next one.
Cool.
I should have not just closed my computer because that TV is now black. Quick, leave. See ya.
See ya.